Good evening. It's another edition of Road to Edo 2024. That's to tell you the premium placed on Edo 2024 because it is obvious that the incumbent will surely vacate Government House come November 2024. Who is the next man? Who is the next man to take on the saddle of leadership of Edo State? So it is important we continue to profile aspirants who are interested to occupy this highly exalted position. My name is Edo State, your anchor on the program Road to Edo 2024, and I have with me a very distinguished gentleman and a man that is regarded as a success in the business world, OKUNGBOWA Paul Orohan, a serial entrepreneur. With over 450 staff strength, he's just 39 years old. Don't forget the clamor for the youths to take over leadership in Nigeria. It is believed that Nigeria is in the doldrum and the youths have the capacity to take Nigeria out of the woods. So, just like states as well. So Orohan is with us. I'll give you more details about his profile. Like I said, he is a success in business. With over 450 staff strength, Paul hails from one of the local government area of Edo State, talking about the paternal, and Ego, local government area, talking about the maternal. Paul is an identical twin to Peter OKUNGBOWA. Paul is an identical twin to Peter OKUNGBOWA, who incidentally is in the studio watching his brother, watching his twin, who is aspiring to be governor. I know if we call him in, he would say that is the man to be governor of Edo State. You will soon meet with him. He attended Iwiore Primary School in this city from 1988 to 1993. Oped College hosted Paul for his secondary school education, after which he obtained his SSSCE in year 2001. In year 2001, before heading to the prestigious University of Benin, where he graduated with BSc Honors in Microbiology in year 2008. And I must tell you, he is a successful family man as well, married to the very, very beautiful Onyiyechi Elizabeth. Paul OKUNGBOWA is blessed with 4 children. Born and sharpened in poverty, Paul, within his mustard seed capacity, has groomed many young people and has served as director, CRUNA, Youth O'Clock Movement. He has served as director of programs, textiles, tutorials, aka Gorilla Brains. He has served as director of programs, Cavalry Crown Academy. He has served as director of programs, UkoQuest Creations. He has done a lot. He has served as director of programs, Spread Media Communications, director of programs, Simba Technology Incubation Center. More unfolding. He is the managing partner, Opium Restaurant and Lodge. He is a baker, laundry expert, a car wash owner. He has a barber shop. Paul believes in the little yet genuine ways of wealth creation, which is termed as multiple source of income. Let's welcome this renowned people's manager, an outstanding business owner, and a scholar, Paul Orohan OKUNGBOWA, to Road to Edo 2024. Nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now, it is believed that it is the time of the youths. Is that your motivation? Is that your inspiration?
Well, first of all, let me thank the management and staff of IT for putting this initiative together.
Okay.
I mean, you have single-handedly given voice to the voiceless. I've been issue only the big class, only the wealthy ones will have this sort of stage to speak to the people. Meanwhile, the true act of governance is not laced within wealth, neither is it laced within your bigmality, let me use that word.
Okay.
It is not entirely my stance that it is the turn of the youth. However, because we have seen youth who have failed youthfulness, I believe it is the turn of the youth who has the capacity to make that needed change. It doesn't necessarily have to be the titled person. It doesn't necessarily have to be the big name. If we can have avenues to discuss our God-given ideas, because I still believe that ideas subsist in every endeavor. If you're a private business owner, you'll be interested in someone who has the idea to move it to the next level. So sometimes the ideas the person have may trump this person's certificate, may trump the person's looks, but the very fact that the person has the idea to move your establishment to a capacity that you want it to become result-oriented will naturally make you enamored and want to hire such a person. So I believe the job for Osadebe Avenue should be based on the basis of a workable, doable, actionable manifesto. A manifesto that is not only in paper, but something that we can discuss with the people. And the people can rationalize that if these things are said, are backed up by government policies, if they drive this with government, this naturally should work. And if it makes that sort of common sense to the people, and then we say youth o'clock, because every staggering ideas as far as history is concerned was bettered in the youthfulness of man. And I still believe that the best of man is very much enraptured within his youthfulness. No wonder the Bible admonished in the days of our youth we should worship. We cannot begin to live this very precarious economic reality that we find ourselves today in the hands of the old, wealthy, sluggish, yet without ideas to drive it, but just the name that they have or the wealth that they have. God did not list leadership in title. God was speaking people according to scriptural teaching. I'm a Christian, I have to speak from my background. God was speaking people on the basis of his anointing upon their life, not on the basis of their names. And that's why, scripturally speaking, those who were preaching God did not know God when he came on earth. It was the simple commoners that knew him. So you're right to say youth o'clock, but in the sense that the youth who has the capacity to lead.
Okay, you just actually mentioned something of interest. And that has to do with the recent statement of a highly respected public affairs commentator and a clergyman, talking about Reverend Kuka, who recently said Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State is an advertisement, it's a poor advertisement for the youth. You just mentioned that it's not just about youth. So do you concur with the statement of this renowned clergyman?
Well, to a very large extent, I do. But what I want to make very clear in the course of this campaign, as the campaigns will gradually unfold,
the campaign has not started.
Yes, when it gradually unfolds,
okay,
what we intend to do is, I've instructed my team, we're not going to push a campaign of calumny. We're not going to be attack dogs. Okay. We're going to stay on people, on issues. Okay. Because if you look at the history of our elections, our politicians don't talk to the people. Perhaps they assume that the people are not savvy enough politically to understand why they should vote. But that guess is wrong. It is that the political system and its actors before now only understand that when you use money and you use calumny, that's when you make sense. And then, of course, when you have two lesser evil, the people are naturally going to go with one. So the political atmosphere before now has been completely controlled. Ab initio. Your thoughts are directed by the availability of the candidates. But what we are saying is, we want to come on board. That's why we made the choice to go to a political party that doesn't have much of the hula baloo that is currently trending within the political space. Because we need a place that is sane enough, where we can hatch and then discuss our manifesto. As time unfolds, there will be a sort of a voter revolution. That's what we foresee. Because in the wake of the last election, it wasn't because the person who won presidential election in Edo State, I'm talking of Peter Obi. If you look at the political spread and you put it completely down, every ounce of political rationality was against Peter Obi. It was from the minority. And of course, in the post-Civil War, there was this Inyamiri concept where an average Northerner, of course, disavow an Easterner. Peter Obi did not promise or give retrospect to industrial revolutions that happened in Anambra. Peter Obi did not show us financial infrastructures that he laid down that is today generating wealth for the people of Anambra. But Peter Obi proved to us that of the candidates that were available, he was more sincere, he was more ready, and he proved to us that he was less greedy while he served as governor. So what we intend to do is ride on that spirit that seeks to educate our people of the power of commoners, the power that the keke riders have, the power that the barbers have, the power that those persons who are currently going through economic quagmire, they have strength. And it is that strength that they have in their numerical strength, their numerical capacity, that the rich and wealthy tap on. So in the course of election, the rich and wealthy only comes to come and share handouts, as the case were, and give them salt and pepper. But my joy this time is that the economic shaggy that has greeted all of us just now has taught us a great lesson, such that the one who used to be a political hiree now knows that if I take 10,000 naira, very soon 10,000 naira will not buy gari or rice beyond a week. It is now like an a knowledge. It is not something you need to convince them of anymore. While we know that people will still go with stomach infrastructure, we are now confident that the youths are really indeed tired of their father's generation. I mean, doesn't it strike a chord that when you go through the history of Nigeria, and you want to say, you want to make particular reference to people who have performed either as presidents or as governors, at the case where you are looking at history, and history tells you the likes of Gowon, they were not in their 60s. The history tells you the likes of the leader of the Biafra movement, Dumego Ojukwu. He was not in his 60s or late 50s. One of the persons that we still today make attributes as one of the best performing governors that have existed in Edo State during the military era is the likes of late Samuel Ogbemudia. How old was he when he was the military administrator of Edo State? He was in his 30s, I think 33. But the political class, or those bourgeois, those who understand how to hold on to power because of the economic allergies that goes holding on to power, have so much lobotomized the process to the extent an average youth of today think he is just good at followership. Head chair, my father, my chair, my chair. And so we're trying to break that norm, because in youthfulness actually lies capacity. My father's generation cannot compete with me in rational thinking on how to apply common sense to today's jet age, or millennial, if you like it, the Gen Z style of governance. There is so much wealth available today, but my father's generation are still holding on to the obsolete means of trying to get results, and that is why they end up with the same result, because the method of trying to get same is as obsolete as the word obsolete sound. We want to bring in the newness of youthful creativity, idealism. When you drive government with ideas, the first thing you shall do is a government that promotes thuggery will empower thugs. And of course, you're going to have thuggery subsisting, and thugs become millionaires and billionaires. But if you have a government that is idea-driven, it is going to empower and encourage and give impetus to a lot of idealists within the common balance to begin to want to stir up as to what their ideas can translate to. Because he that they have placed at the top to represent their interests is only thriving and driving with ideas.
Okay, I must tell you, OKUNGBOWA, I'm highly impressed. I'm highly impressed. But some persons could say this rhetorics. Now, your party is not a popular party, the YPP. Now, you are a very successful businessman from all that we've heard about your profile. Another impressive performance in the business world. Now, if you were to hire an employee, would you go for experience or just go for maybe the paperwork? Now, you want to be governor. What experience do you think you have to be governor? Because the people, just like you, an employer, may opt for experience. Why people have not had any position in Edo State, we've not seen what they are capable of doing. So how do you want to convince Edo people?
Well, you asked me a question if I will go with experience. At this material time, I'll go with talent.
Okay.
Because the experience, quote and unquote, I've only shown one thing. They are very experienced at stealing the people's commonwealth.
How do you mean?
Oh, is it not obvious that in the Nigerian political space, people just go there and leave their billionaires in pounds, sterling, or dollars? Experience has taught that he who knows how to hide commodities will be so good at hiding it that those who are seeking it will not find it. So I would rather, as a business owner, this is a job description, let's think of it that way.
Yeah.
This is somebody attempting to manage the people's resources. So what that means naturally is that the billionaire is not coming there with his billions to fix the people's commonwealth with it, of make life easier, better for them. So the billionaire is coming there with what you describe as common sense, which is actually not common in the common marketplace, and ideas to micromanage and run the affairs of the people. So when you have leadership laced with empathy, leadership that understands the real sufferings of the people, then you have a leadership who will use ideas to translate stone to wealth. While the obsolete, greedy leadership sees stone as a commodity that should be discarded, a newer generation of smart thinkers is seeing stone as a commodity that should be used to create wealth. As for my party not being a popular party, somebody made a mockery of a comment on Facebook and said that I should get off the Facebook page, that big fishes are now in this race. I'm a young man. I will not pretend. I will not take lightly to such sarcasm without replying you. I told him, are you not ashamed of the very comment you have made just now? But however, let me take you to the aquatic world. It is the big fishes that feeds on the small fishes. The small fishes are always the expendables. So no matter what it is you have to say, the wealth, all the size of the big fish is contingent on the number of small fishes they consume. And so if you call me small fish, you have just alluded yourself just now that big fishes are coming to consume all of us. So you should be ashamed of that comment. However, before Peter Gregory Obi, who is a very notable mentor, I may not be a member of the Labour Party anymore, but Peter Obi is a mentor because I was a member of the Labour Party. And if you care to ask, maybe you ask me afterwards, why did you leave the Labour Party for YPP? Of course, because you have said just now, the YPP is not as recognized as every other political party. I believe in mustard seeds, sir. I believe mustard seeds grow. But I don't believe anymore that it takes forever for mustard seeds to grow. Mustard seeds are sprouting up within seconds if it finds a suitable bedding ground. Because as we speak just now, the Labour Party before Peter Obi was just one of those political parties you count as mere name. But you see, when Peter Obi left PDP because of the obvious dollarization of the process of the primaries, Peter Obi alone, single-handedly, with his narrative, gave Labour Party within a space of 6 months what they now enjoy today. And so I believe that if we can share dreams, prospects, the possibility that we can have a smart working Edo, a possibility that we can have a Edo that actually solves problem. We can have a Edo that creates wealth instead of borrowing spuriously, and a Edo that creates wealth to solve poverty and solve hunger, and a Edo that actually has a direct policy program to every home, every nuclear setting, a policy program that will change the lives of these room and parlor people, 2 rooms people, or flat apartment people, or duplex people, but the policy that is actually intentional and directed to the people. When you share such policies, we are heading for a voter revolution, let me tell you. We did not get in this phase because we felt like we have it all worked out, or we thought it's going to be an easy ride. We know it's not going to be an easy ride. The last elections in Edo were completely greeted with violence. We know the political actors of the state are not going to take it easy when the youth begin to wake up to say no to our fathers, yes to this small boy, because what he's saying is going to make sense to them. As time proceeds, we're going to be engaging on what I would describe as a very cerebral yet very lucid understanding of what it means to youthfully run governance. And then we will now allow the people make the decision on what they want to do. It is like giving them clay and asking them to mold the kind of leaders they want. But now it will not be business as usual, where you just gather people and say, hey, that one stole money, that one, who is your mother? It's going to be issue-based. I have said before now on Facebook that when this metamorphoses into the actual campaign, and that God's grace, if we have the support to keep putting our voices out there, every candidate, because it will subsist to candidature eventually, every candidate will become a researcher before they mount any podium, because we are going to change the tides of the discourse. Okay. And that change of the tide of discourse, we have from now till September or November. It's a lot of time. The people are not foolish anymore. Yet you have some keypad warriors who are on Facebook preaching gospels of political class, because of course they may have been paid to do so. But the actual voter is in the streets in Akoko Edo or in Ibilu. He's just hoping for a better life. The actual voter in Edo Central, somewhere around the Woini, is just hoping for a better life. The actual voter in Mission Road, somewhere around Baba or somewhere around the Wotubu, is just waiting for a better life. The actual voter is not a politician. The actual voter doesn't concern himself with structure. The actual voter becomes structure if it becomes necessary that he or she has become completely inebriated and enamored by the idealism that has been prepared just now. That person becomes the structure. They mocked the Labour Party that it didn't have structure once upon a time, but structure grew overnight. And YPP right now is the mustard seed because we are the young people leading other creative, assertive, and strong young persons in that front. It's a battlefront, sir. It's a battlefront, but we will not be fighting with our fists. This is not a matter of fisticuffs. We're going to be fighting at the level of content. Yeah, you may be a professor, you may be a doctor, a lettered doctor. We're going to take you to the ontology of knowledge, what we describe as knowledge qua knowledge. We're going to be asking you to prove, not just sound brilliant or sound intelligent. Your manifesto for the first time must become a proven entity. And we're going to make sure the people wake up to one reality. It is you that is a small fish that every big fish want to consume. Without you, the big names are not big. Ask yourself, why is it that when they get into political offices and they want to start investing, they invest in shopping malls, filling stations, and wherever you can go and spend money? Any place where the poor will keep coming to patronize. How about investing in institutions or projects that could translate the lives of the people? Have you heard that selfless person who left office that has built several shopping malls instead of building healthcare centers? Instead of joining the government of the day or using their name to attract international nations still, because once upon a time you were a governor, you are still a governor in the eyes of the international community. Have you used your name, the name that the state bequeathed upon you as ex-governor, to keep attracting equipment to government health care centers? Are they functional? Why are you not investing in science and technology? Because that's the future. Why don't we have this? Or you probably will come on air to come and tell us we open a cyber, an IT center, go and learn how to type computer. My generation is a lot smarter than that. My generation can tap into the $6 trillion quoted on the stock exchange market every day if you give them the right government tool, if government will back and give them the necessary policy programs to drive it. My generation can make so much wealth from the existing infrastructure, which is the internet. But today, my generation has been misled to the extent that, apart from smoking and indulging in nuisance, which of course was occasioned by frustration by their fathers, my generation cannot say anymore that in their 30s they were leaders.
Okay, let me quickly ask you this because of time. You actually prompted me. There's a school of thought that is of the opinion that you left the Labour Party because you felt it would be easier for you to go to the primaries in YPP and become a candidate. You were scared and you didn't have that self-confidence in the Labour Party to actually compete. Is that correct?
Well, first of all, to an extent, I'm a very truthful person.
Okay.
Even if the truth works against me, I like to say it. I knew that the Labour Party that we worked and fought for was going to be overtaken by names that are bigger than us, because not because their names are bigger, quote and unquote, because the value inherent in the names, but because they're going to come with a lot of monies. I knew that. And so, in the wake of the defection of Peter Obi, I reached out to Labour Party myself. They didn't reach out to me. I took a convoy of nearly 100 youths to their office. Very many were outside because the office space was small. And we volunteered our support to the Labour Party. I remember I told the state chairman, Comrade Kelly Ogbaloy, to fortify the party so that dollarizers don't come to hijack the platform, because I knew. But somehow, this is democracy. You cannot stop the people from coming in. But I realized that what gave Labour Party what it had today was the disenchantment of Nigerians who felt Peter Obi should have been a better candidate at a certain political party and was dollarized out of the political party. So that sentiment alone, I felt Labour Party should ride on that sentiment, which is also in accordance with their constitution. In the constitution of the Labour Party, it was stated somewhere that their nomination form fee should be such that the son of a commoner who has the ideas to steer the ship of a collective endeavor should be able to. And so when they started with 25 million in the other states, I knew there was going to be chaos. So I started war tour. I started going from war to tour just to share dreams with them. And for every time I get to some of the world They tell me you are just and wonderful. But how far? I said, well, God will perfect his work in due time. And so when these issues started coming up, I started several meetings with the party leadership. There are some things I don't want to say.
But because we don't have their own
the summary is that
some of the allegations.
Yes, no, they are not allegations. I'm just talking generally in summary. Let's just say in summary. Let's just say in summary, I realized that the labor ward would be too expensive for us to deliver that Edo child that we're looking for. And so I took heed and ran. I didn't just leave, I ran. I bolted. Okay. To put it simply, I bagger. Because I knew that the labor ward had become too expensive.
I don't know the meaning of bagger.
Oh, it's a pidgin English balance for escape.
Okay. So, I want to thank OKUNGBOWA. I know that time is not always our friend on the program, but he has been able to enlighten you. He's been able to tell you what he intends to achieve. He's very optimistic. You can see how enthusiastic he's been on the program, and very, in a way, has convinced you and I. But he has to pass through the process, which is very optimistic about, and that is the primary. And he has told you that he believes that in YPP, he will have the opportunity to actually showcase what he intends to do for the Edo people. You are the judge. OKUNGBOWA, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Your endeavor.
Thank you so much.
I hope we'll have you again. That's the program, Road to Edo 2024. My name is Ehusa Agbolao. Bye-bye.